Hello everyone around the world. Hello South Africa. Hello Zimbabwe. Hello Africa. India. All over the world. How are you guys? So it's comment section time. Uh yeah, we have to respond to some of the issues that have been raised on the comment section. So where to start? We are not going to fix anything, so choose down. Let's talk about electronics, how we are doing repairs. I'm sure I'm speaking to technicians here around the world who are fixing various kind of devices. So we have to speak about other things just to share knowledge for free. Like I said, you don't need any school to learn electronics. You have to practice by yourself. In that way, you get better. So where do we start? Where do we start? Mm, let's go to the community YouTube studio. We are on the community. We just want to answer few questions that have been raised by some of the subscribers, just to clear everything out. Yeah. So the first question: do you do online classes? No, I'm not doing online classes, but what I'm doing, I'm just sharing my electronic repair experience over time. What I come across over time, the skills which I have, and the kind of devices that I'm fixing. If you check on the channel, I'm fixing um old vintage stuff like 10-15 years behind technology, because those are the items which we are using here in Zimbabwe. So I'm not doing online electronic online classes, but I'm sharing the knowledge about how I'm doing things on this side. Okay. Please share sites for getting bin files. I'm a new beginner tech from Botswana. You know, the bin files. The bin files. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. If you go on Google, let's say ESA Aspire bin file. I'll show you the site where you can get free bin files. You see this site? Let's open this website. This website is sharing a lot of BIOS bin files for free. You can see here there are laptop BIOS, laptop schematics, laptop board view, parts, softwares. This site, everything is for free. Everything is for free. If suppose you want to download this bin file, you just click here, download. It will take you to the next page, and I'm sure on that page you will see this is the bin file. If I say download here, I'll start to download the bin file for that particular laptop. So that site is for free. That site is for free. If you are to look for bin files, this is a good site to go, because they are sharing everything for free. And also I'll share other links from the guys who are in South Africa, where I'm getting other bin files. Or else, what else you can do? Where else you can get the bin files? You can go here. You see, electronic repair school. Under electronic repair school, if you join their Discord server, there are so many people. I think more than 10,000 technicians. And what they are doing, they are just sharing various electronic knowledge. You see everything, some bin files, all these bin files. So yeah, he's a good guy. You can go to his channel, Electronic Repair School. You subscribe, you download the the Discord application, and then I'm sure he will share you the link to join the Discord server. There are also main bin files. Uh, what names of buses or dongles we are using for flashing phones? On phones, what I'm doing on phones, I'm using NCK box, but I'm not like deep into flashing phones. You know, there are some jobs which you have to leave for others. Obviously, you can't take every dollar in town. You have to spare other jobs for other technicians. So I'm not like a software guy. I'm doing most of the jobs on the hardware side rather than software. But I'm still flashing some phones, like basic simple phones, removing FRPs. Mm. Yeah, so you can use NCK. You can use. There are so many softwares where you can, which you can download and use for flashing phones. What happened when the open view satellite decoder is stuck on green light? What are the causes? When your decoder, let me see if I have a decoder here. When this when this thing when this thing is stuck on green light, what you can do here, you don't have too many options. What you can do, you can swap the EEPROM IC or try to reprogram it. If that doesn't help, in most cases, the processor is dead and you can't do anything. You have to buy another one. That's the only way to go about these things. Um, Hello, my friend. I got the same laptop, not turning on or charging, but when I plug in the charger, I can see the charging red light showing on and off continuously. Yeah, when the case is like that, you plug in the charger, you have charging light, but the laptop is not turning on. Probably the EC chip or the startup chip, the microcontroller. In most cases, the microcontroller is good, and you have other issues. But you have to check. You have to check why your laptop is charging but is not turning on. Maybe you have the power button problem. We have a BIOS problem. You have a power supply problem, maybe for the processor, or can be anything. Huh? Can be anything, but you have to check other things. But in most cases, when you have charging light and it's not turning on, um, it means the BQ chip might be okay and the EC chip is okay, but for some other reasons, the laptop is not responding when you send 3.3 to ground. Uh, oh, one question: where do you buy laptop MOSFETs and capacitors? Where do I buy laptop MOSFETs and capacitors? I'm not buying. I'm not buying those components. because we have so many boards for space. I have so many donor boards for space, and all these are MOSFETs. So many boards with MOSFETs. So I don't think there's need to buy MOSFETs. They are all over, capacitors, many components. So I'm just taking components from donor boards and replace. Like as I said, it's all about country. It's all about country. Here you can't buy like a MOSFETs, SMD capacitors. You can't do that because first thing, there's no shop which is selling those kind of components, and it's not just worth it because they don't pay. People, they are fixed. They are coming with old vintage devices which you are charging less, so you can't strain yourself in looking for special components to fix the devices. You fix whatever with whatever components that is available at the shop. What were you trying to do with the tweezer when you took out the CMOS battery, please? This is a good question. What I was trying to do when I took out the CMOS battery, I think this. 1 second. 1 second. We have this motherboard. You see this motherboard? I don't even know which mode of HP has this motherboard. But here we have CMOS battery. Sometimes you see me doing this. Where's my tweezer? Here's my tweezer. Sometimes you see me doing this. I take out the battery. After taking out the battery, I short pins on the battery, and I put back the BIOS battery. You know what? This is a CMOS battery, and this is a 3 volts battery. And what this battery is doing is keeping BIOS settings alive. Because on every laptop motherboard, we have a BIOS battery. You see this, we have a BIOS chip. This BIOS chip consists of, inside this BIOS chip, we have a firmware which has to be kept alive all the time by this CMOS battery. So if there's no this CMOS battery, you have like a BIOS settings issue when you start up the laptop. Maybe they will pop up a message. It's trying to tell you to change date and time settings. Maybe you want to change from LIGAS to UIF, EIF, from LIGAS to. So like I said, whether I want to change from LIGAS to UEFI, which is a Unified Intensible Firmware Interface, you power on the laptop. Maybe on some laptop like HP, you press soon after you power on the laptop, you press F10, you go to BIOS settings, you change those settings from whether LIGAS or UEFI. In most cases, if it's not reading the hard drive. So that's what I was trying to do there. What I was trying to do, I was resetting the BIOS settings to their original states using a tweezer. Where do you get your spare components from, and how do you know if they are the same in terms of capacity? Like I said, I'm getting my spare parts on donor boards, except like few power modules which I'm buying on AliExpress. But the components, depending on the country, you can check on AliExpress, you can check on eBay, Amazon. There are so many sites where you can get components, like new components at cheaper prices. Uh, I say I did manage to do your follow up on power rail. I checked the first MOSFET and it was okay. I managed to get 20 volts, but the issue is on the second MOSFET. I changed it, but it wasn't passing 20 volts to my current sensor. Could it be my charging IC? Uh, I'll draw the input section here. I'll draw the input section. We have the charging port. Here, we have some MOSFETs here. We have another MOSFET. And here we have the current resistor. From there, this is the VCC. That's M to the power 1. That's the second MOSFET, M to the power 2. Here, 4 pins together. 3 pins. Here, another 3 pins on the second one. And the gas, they are going to the BQ chip. This is a basic setup on 80 to 90% of the laptops, motherboards. This is the basic input section, how the power flows from the charging port to the motherboard. So the 19 volts is flowing in this direction. And here we have ground. And on some laptop like Dell, Lenovo, you have the middle pin. And on the Lenovo, if you short this middle pin with the plus, trust me, you burn up the startup chip, because this pin is going straight to the E.C chip, which is bad design from the manufacturer. So these MOSFETs, they are gatekeepers. These are just switches. They are acting exactly as switches. So our subscriber is saying the first MOSFET is okay, but the problem, this MOSFET is not driving the power. And I'm sure there are so many reasons why this can happen. There are so many reasons. The first reason why the second MOSFET cannot pass the 19 volts through the second MOSFET, maybe you have a short ground on end of the power supplies on the motherboard, because here after the VCC, you have 3.3 volts, you have 1.5 for the RAM, you have 5 volts for the USB, you have 1 volt for the CPU. That's the CPU. This is USB ports. This is the RAM. 3.3 volts for the EC chip, startup chip, and for the PCH. So all these voltages, they are being regulated from the VCC, which is 19 volts, because we have some chips which are stepping down 19 volts to 3.3, 1.5, 5 volts, and 1 volts, maybe 0.8, 0.9 for the GPU, and many other power supplies. So if the 19 volts is not passing the second MOSFET, maybe on one of these power supplies you have a short to ground. That can be the cause. So you have to check from the current sensor to ground. Maybe you have short to ground, or maybe the MOSFET is faulty. Maybe this MOSFET is faulty. Maybe this MOSFET is faulty, or this first MOSFET can be the issue why the second MOSFET is closed. But you have to check. The thing with the electronics, you have to check what's going on with your power. Check all other power supplies, check for short ground. The easy way is to come at this point, come on this point with the DC power supply. DC power supply, you know, adjustable DC power supply like the one which I'm using. Come at this point. You can even inject 3 volts on the 19 volts power rail. If there is anything, you see the current consumption. You see current consumption here, and something will be taking that current, and that in most cases that is your problem. So that's how things goes with the motherboards. How did you manage to fix the electric screwdriver? You know the issue about my electric screwdriver? I didn't fix anything. That's the screwdriver. You see, now it's working. Sometimes it's got stuck. I'm pressing here. I don't know what is happening because I tried to open. I could not manage to open this screwdriver. But when I press here, it's responding. So that's all what I did on that electric screwdriver. I need to do a battery replacement. Where can I get the battery for the SAS model? Check online. If you can't get it from the nearby shops, please check online. Check Amazon, check eBay, check AliExpress, check other sites which are selling like electronic components and parts. Now you have taught us how to check voltage rails. Tell us what happened when each is missing, especially the RAM voltage. If the RAM voltage is missing, this RAM voltage for 1.5 volts. If this is missing, in most cases, when you power on the laptop, it's powering on, but it's not displaying, it's not giving us picture. So why this can be absent? This can be absent because the way how things works, we have 2 MOSFETs. Here we have some ceramic capacitors. Which are connected on the 19 volts, and these 2 MOSFETs, they are being controlled by this driver. That's the driver. The gates of the MOSFETs, they are going there to the driver. And here we have coil. And after the coil, we have output electrolyte capacitor. And we have 1.5 volts for the RAM. So this is just a rough sketch of how a switching power supply is supposed to be on a laptop motherboard. So the 19 volts is coming this This and this MOSFET, they are like switches. So switching up and down will create voltage here on this coil. And there we have output 1.5 volts. So if you don't have 1.5 volts, the laptop might come on but not display. So you have to check these MOSFETs, check these two MOSFETs. If the MOSFETs are good and still is not working, we have swapped the MOSFET. Also try to swap the driver. Maybe the problem is emanating from this driver or from these MOSFETs. What I found this high side MOSFET, because one of these MOSFET is connected to ground and the other one is connected to plus. I found this was on short, and what my 19 volts was doing was coming from the VCC going straight to the RAM. And instead of this RAM to receive 1.5 volts, the RAM was receiving 19 volts, and this RAM was getting very hot. So if the RAM, which is meant to work with 1.5 volts, receives 19 volts, automatically that RAM is gone. So if the RAM voltage is missing, the laptop is coming on, but it does not display. If we have short on the 5 volts power line, the laptop is coming on and goes off quickly. This happens in a few seconds. In few seconds, the laptop coming on and goes off. In most cases, the 5 volts power line is shorted to ground. Maybe it's the driver, maybe people, they are playing with USB ports, they put some things and the plus is shorted to ground. So that's how things works. And if the 3.3 is missing, here it's a big problem. Because all these power supplies, they are off, but this one is on. This is the 3.3 volts always, because it's coming from the VREC 3. Even if the laptop is off, you think your laptop is off, but this power rail is always on. And the challenge, and most of the problems, they are emanating from the 3.3 volts power supply. This power supply is dying many times on many laptops. And if this power supply is dead, the laptop will not respond, will not power off on, because the EC chip is getting power from the VREG 3. Our startup chip is being powered on. That's how things works on these power supplies. So that's the thing. That's the thing. If some voltage rails they are missing, some power rails they are missing, the motherboard might come on and misbehave, or it's not coming on completely. So that was the issue. That was the issue. I think I managed to explain many things. I responded to some of the issues, burning issues. And if you still have something that you think I didn't answer well, please don't hesitate to leave a comment, and I'll try to answer you on the next video. So yeah, it's Sunday. Hope people that are fixing things around the world. If you are not fixing, maybe you are just relaxing on a weekend. I just wish you a nice weekend wherever you are. And yeah, I'm sure we're on the right direction. Yeah, let's continue practice, 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 and in that way you will get you will get better. Because there's no online school which is going to teach you electronics. No one is going to come and teach you how to do a repair. You have to do it by your own. That is the reason why I showed you about those DIY electronic keys where you can buy it on any site like Amazon. You can buy it on AliExpress. You buy those kits and try to understand how resistors they are working, MOSFETs, capacitor, diodes, how they are reacting in a circuit. That is the only way how you can learn electronics and get better. Try to do it by your own. So you have a nice weekend. Bye bye.